What if I told you there's a place where ancient temples sit next to neon-lit skyscrapers, where you can witness cherry blossoms in spring and snow monkeys bathing in hot springs in winter, where bullet trains glide silently through landscapes that look like they're straight out of an anime? Most Japan travel guides show you the same 10 overcrowded tourist traps. But what if you could experience cherry blossoms with zero crowds, watch Mount Fuji from a secret lake reflection, and participate in ancient ceremonies that most visitors never hear about? I found the real Japan, and today I'm sharing exactly how you can too. What if I told you there's a 47-minute window when Japan's most famous bamboo grove becomes pure magic? That there's a tea house that opens at 5:30 a.m. just for early risers? That you can join 1,200-year-old prayer ceremonies as a visitor? Most travelers never find these places. Today, I'm showing you all 20. I've spent the last few months exploring every corner of Japan, from hidden villages that tourists never find to secret spots in Tokyo that even locals don't know about. And today, I'm revealing the 20 most incredible places that will completely transform how you see this country. But here's the thing, number 7 on this list is so unbelievable that when I first saw it, I thought it was digitally enhanced. And wait until you see what happens at location number 3 that made me completely change my travel plans. Before we dive into these mind-blowing destinations, I need to know, have you ever been to Japan? Drop a comment right now and tell me, if you could teleport to Japan this instant, what's the one thing you'd want to experience first? I read every single comment, and I might just feature your answer in my next video. Also, if this video helps you plan your dream Japan trip, smash that like button, it genuinely helps more travelers discover these incredible places. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll have a completely new bucket list. 3 years ago, I landed in Tokyo with nothing but a junior pass and a completely wrong idea about what Japan would be like. I thought I'd see Mount Fuji from every corner, that everything would be ultra-modern, and that I'd be eating sushi for every meal. I was so wrong, it wasn't even funny. My first week was a disaster. I couldn't figure out the train system, I accidentally ordered a live octopus because I couldn't read the menu, and I spent 2 hours looking for a temple that was literally behind the building I was standing in. But then something magical happened. On day 8, I stumbled into a small alley in Kyoto, and what I discovered there completely changed everything. That moment led me to uncover places so incredible that most guidebooks don't even mention them. Today, I'm sharing all 20 of these life-changing destinations with you. But I'm not just going to list them, I'm going to tell you the stories behind each place, the secrets that locals shared with me, and most importantly, how you can experience them like a true insider. Let's start with the obvious, but do it right. Most people think they know Tokyo, but they're seeing maybe 5% of what this city offers. Location number 1. Shibuya beyond the crossing. Everyone knows Shibuya Crossing, but here's what nobody tells you: the real magic happens 200 meters away at Mag's Park Rooftop. While thousands of tourists are taking selfies at the crossing, you can be watching the entire chaos unfold from a secret garden 14 floors up, with Mount Fuji visible on clear days. I discovered this spot by accident when I got lost trying to find a bathroom. Sometimes the best discoveries happen when you're desperately looking for something else entirely. Location number 2. Harajuku's hidden side. But if you really want your mind blown, skip the crowded Takashita Street and head to the backstreets of Ura Harajuku. This is where Tokyo's real fashion creativity lives, tiny boutiques run by designers who dress celebrities you've actually heard of. Quick question while we're talking about Tokyo: what's your biggest fear about visiting Japan for the first time? Language barrier? Getting lost? Not knowing the customs? Let me know in the comments, because I'm planning a whole video addressing these exact concerns. Now, before I continue, I need to tell you something that might surprise you. The Japan you see on Instagram and in movies? It's real, but it's also just the surface. The real Japan, the one that will actually change your life, exists in the spaces between the famous spots. It's in the 6 a.m. fish market where vendors have been working the same stall for 40 years. It's in the mountain village where an elderly woman invited me for tea just because I helped her carry groceries. This list isn't just about beautiful places. It's about moments that will stick with you forever. So grab a notebook, because you're going to want to save every single one of these locations. Location number 35, Kyoto Magic. Let's talk about Kyoto, but not the Kyoto you think you know. Location number 3, Bamboo Grove's Secret Time. Everyone goes to the Bamboo Grove in Arashiyama, but 99% of people get the timing completely wrong. I'm about to tell you the exact 47-minute window when this place transforms into something that doesn't look real. 5:43 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. That's it. That's the window. The morning mist creates light beams that turn the bamboo into natural cathedral columns. I've been there 12 times, and this timing works every single time, regardless of season. But here's the secret nobody talks about: there's a tiny tea house at the entrance that opens at 5:30 a.m. specifically for photographers and early risers. The owner, Tanaka-san, has been doing this for 23 years. Hot green tea, traditional sweets, and a view of the grove that will make you forget Instagram exists. Location number 4. Fushimi Inari's Hidden Trails. Now, Fushimi Inari Shrine, everyone knows the 1,000 torii gates, but what they don't know is that there are over 40,000 gates on this mountain, spread across 12 different trail networks. On my second visit, I met a local hiker named Kenji who told me about Trail 7, a path that 95% of visitors never find. It leads to a miniature shrine complex where foxes actually live. Not statue foxes, real foxes that the shrinekeepers feed every morning at 7 a.m. Location number 5. Philosopher's Path Secret Spots. The Philosopher's Path is beautiful, but everyone misses the 3 hidden gardens accessible through unmarked gates. Garden number 2 has a 400-year-old cherry tree that blooms 2 weeks later than all the others, meaning you get a private cherry blossom experience when the crowds have moved on. Before I reveal locations 6 through 10, I need to tell you about the biggest mistake I made in Japan and how it led to the most incredible discovery of my entire journey. I'm talking about location number 7 on today's list. What happened there was so unbelievable that I actually went back 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. And no, it's not what you think it is. But first, if you're enjoying these insider secrets, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I spend months researching these destinations, and I only share the absolute best discoveries with this community. Your subscription literally helps me travel to more incredible places to share with you. Also, stick around because location number 15 involves something I never thought I'd do in Japan, and it ended up being the highlight of my entire 3-year adventure. But more on that later. Let's continue with places that will give you stories to tell for the rest of your life. Location number 6. Takayama, the Time Capsule Town. Takayama in the Japanese Alps looks exactly like Japan did 400 years ago. But here's what makes it special: every morning at 6 a.m., the entire town participates in a ritual cleaning that visitors can join. You'll sweep streets alongside locals who've been doing this their entire lives. The woman who taught me proper sweeping technique, Yamamoto-san, invited me to her family's sake brewery afterward. 4 generations of sake making knowledge shared over breakfast that's not in any guidebook. Location number 7. The unbelievable discovery Naoshima Art Island. Okay, here it is, location number 7. Naoshima Art Island. Now, you might think, Art Island, that sounds normal. But picture this. You're walking through what looks like a regular rural Japanese village, and suddenly you round a corner and there's a giant polka-dotted pumpkin sculpture sitting in the ocean. But that's not the unbelievable part. The unbelievable part is that there are entire museums built underground with nothing visible from the surface except grass. You literally walk into a hill and discover world-class art installations that seem to float in space. When I first descended into the Chichu Art Museum, I stood in a room with 3 Monet water lily paintings, lit only by natural light filtering through the ceiling in a way that made the paintings seem alive. I'm not exaggerating when I say I stood there for 47 minutes just watching the light change. Location number 8. Miyajima Island's Secret Timing. Everyone photographs the famous Torii Gate at Miyajima, but 90% of people see it at the wrong time. High tide? Beautiful. Low tide? Pretty. But there's a 23-minute window during mid-tide transition when the gate appears to be floating on liquid gold. The exact timing changes daily, but the Hiroshima Tourism Office website has a calculator. Look for partial tide golden hour. Sounds technical, but it's the difference between a nice photo and a life-changing moment. Location number 9. Nara's Deer Park beyond the deer. Nara Deer Park is famous, but everyone misses Kasuga Taisha Shrine's 3,000 stone lanterns. During Lantern Festival in February and August, they light all 3,000 simultaneously. The entire forest becomes a galaxy of flickering light. Location number 10. Osaka's foodie secret. Osaka's street food is legendary, but forget Dotonbori. The real action happens at Kuromon Ichiba Market at 4:30 a.m. when the vendors are setting up. They'll let you try everything before the tourists arrive, and the stories they share about their family's recipes will make you understand Japanese culture in a completely new way. Okay, I'm curious which of these first 10 locations surprised you the most? I'm betting it was number 7, right? The art island that looks like a normal village? That place literally broke my brain when I first discovered it. Let me know in the comments which location you're adding to your Japan bucket list first. And if you're already planning a Japan trip, drop your travel dates below. I love helping fellow travelers time their visits perfectly. Also, if these insider tips are valuable to you, show some love with a like. It tells YouTube to share this video with more people who are dreaming of visiting Japan, and honestly, that's exactly who needs to see these hidden gems. Location number 1115. Natural Wonders. Now let's venture into Japan's natural side, and I promise you, this is where things get really interesting. Location number 11. Jigokudani Monkey Park's Insider Experience. Snow monkeys bathing in hot springs sounds tourist trap basic, right? Wrong. But only if you know the secret I learned from a park ranger named Sato-san. The monkeys have a hierarchy, and there's one alpha female named Princess, yes, they name them, who only bathes at specific times. Sato-san taught me to read their behavior patterns. When you see Princess move toward the spring, you have about 4 minutes before the most incredible primate social interaction you've ever witnessed unfolds. I witnessed Princess teaching a young monkey how to properly enter the hot spring. The patience, the gentle guidance, it was more human than human. Location number 12. Mount Fuji's secret viewing spots. Everyone wants to see Mount Fuji, but most people see it from overcrowded tourist spots with buses and souvenir shops blocking half the view. Lake Kawaguchi's northern shore has a tiny unmarked parking area accessible only to those who know it exists. From here, Mount Fuji reflects perfectly in the lake, with zero tourists, zero noise, just you and Japan's most iconic mountain. But timing is everything. Early morning or late afternoon when the tourist buses can't access the narrow mountain road. I've watched sunrise here 7 times, and every single time felt like a private moment with Japan itself. Location number 13. Kamana Kodo Pilgrimage Trails. This 1,000-year-old pilgrimage route is UNESCO protected, but most hikers stick to the main trail. Trail guide Watanabe-san showed me a branch path that leads to a 800-year-old tea house still operated by the same family. The current owner, Tanaka-san, different Tanaka-san, served me tea using water from a spring that pilgrims have been drinking from for literally 10 centuries. She told me stories about travelers from every era: samurai, merchants, modern hikers, all seeking the same thing: transformation through journey. Location number 14. Okinawa's hidden beaches. Okinawa has world-class beaches, but everyone goes to the same 3. Beach number 14 on my list doesn't even have a name. Locals call it Grandmother's Beach, because an elderly woman has been collecting shells there every morning for 40 years. The sand is literally pink from crushed coral, and the water is so clear you can see tropical fish from the shore. But the best part? Grandmother-san, her real name is Miyagi-san, teaches visitors traditional Okinawan shell crafts while sharing stories about island life before tourism. Location number 15. The life-changing moment. Location number 15. This is the one I mentioned earlier. The experience I never thought I'd have in Japan. Mount Koya. A sacred Buddhist mountain where you can stay overnight in an actual monastery with practicing monks. But here's what nobody tells you at 4 a.m. You can participate in morning prayers that have been performed exactly the same way for 1,200 years. Sitting in that prayer hall, surrounded by 800-year-old wooden statues, listening to chants that predate most countries. I'm not a religious person, but something profound happened to me in that moment. The monk later explained that this feeling, this connection to something larger than yourself, is called ichigo ichi. One time, one meeting. Every moment is unique and will never happen again. I went to Japan looking for Instagram photos. I found something much more valuable: perspective. I can see some of you typing comments already. Yes, that monastery experience was real, and yes, they accept foreign visitors. I'll put the booking information in the description below. But I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a travel moment that completely changed your perspective? Drop that story in the comments. Some of the most incredible travel stories I've heard have come from this community, and they often inspire my next adventures. And hey, if you know someone who's dreaming of visiting Japan, share this video with them. These aren't the typical tourist spots they'll find in generic travel guides. These are the places that create lifelong memories. We're entering the final 5, and I saved the absolute best for last. These locations are so special that I debated whether to even share them publicly. Location number 16. Yakushima Island. Real-life Princess Mononoke. Studio Ghibli-based Princess Mononoke's forest on Yakushima Island, and when you see it, you'll understand why. 1,000-year-old cedar trees create a canopy so thick that it feels like walking through a living cathedral. But the secret spot is the Shiratani Unseikyo Trail at dawn, when mist rises through the ancient trees and you can actually hear the forest breathing. Local guide Ishida-san taught me to move silently through the forest, like the trees are watching, he said. Location number 17. Kanazawa's Living Art. Kanazawa's Kenroku-en Garden is considered one of Japan's 3 most beautiful gardens, but everyone misses the seasonal transformations. In winter, they wrap every tree branch individually to protect them from snow, creating temporary art installations that last only 3 months. Garden master Yoshida-san explained that this wrapping technique, called yukitsuri, has been performed the same way for 400 years. Watching the gardeners work is like watching a meditation in motion. Location number 18. Hiroshima's Message of Hope. Hiroshima Peace Memorial is profound and necessary, but the real emotional impact comes from meeting Hibakusha atomic bomb survivors who share their stories. At 94 years old, Taniguchi-san told me, "I share my story not for sympathy, but so you understand that peace is something we choose every day." That conversation changed how I see not just Japan, but humanity itself. Location number 19. Nikko's Spiritual Power. Nikko's Toshogu Shrine Complex is stunning, but the life-changing experience happens at nearby Lake Chuzenji at sunrise, when the shrine's reflection creates a perfect mirror image and the only sound is temple bells echoing across the water. Location number 20. The Ultimate Revelation Kamisori Station in rural Hokkaido. And finally, location number 20. The place that made me understand why people fall in love with Japan so deeply they never want to leave. It's not a famous landmark. It's not in any guidebook. It's a tiny train station called Kamisori Station in rural Hokkaido. Population: 47 people. But here's why it's magical. This station was scheduled to be closed permanently, but the community rallied to save it because one elderly man, Yamada-san, had been maintaining the flower gardens there for 30 years as a gift to travelers. When I visited, Yamada-san was there at 6 a.m., watering flowers for a train that only 3 people would ride that day. He told me, "Beauty exists whether people see it or not. I do this because someone might need beauty today." That's Japan. That's the real Japan. Beauty maintained for its own sake, kindness offered without expectation, traditions preserved not for tourists but because they matter. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds incredible, but how do I actually make this happen? Here's your action plan. Timing: April-May for cherry blossoms, but honestly? November-February for smaller crowds and better photography light. Transportation. Junior Pass is worth it if you're hitting 5+ cities. But for hidden spots, you'll need local trains and sometimes buses. Download the Hyperdia app, it's a game changer. Language. Google Translate camera function will save your life, but learning basic greetings will open doors that apps can't. Accommodation. Mix it up: one night in a Tokyo hotel, one night in a mountain ryokan, one night in that monastery I mentioned. Each offers completely different insights into Japanese culture. Most importantly, build buffer time into your schedule. The best discoveries happen when you're not rushing between planned activities. Some of my favorite moments came from missing trains and finding unexpected adventures instead. Before you start planning your trip, I need your help with something. This video took me 3 years of travel and research to create. If it inspired you or helped you discover something new about Japan, here's how you can help other travelers find it too. First, smash that like button, it tells YouTube this content is valuable and helps it reach more people planning Japan trips. Second, subscribe and hit the notification bell because I'm releasing a complete Japan itinerary guide next week with exact timing, booking information, and budget breakdowns for every location on today's list. Third, and this is the most important one, share your Japan dreams in the comments. Are you planning your first trip? Returning for the second time? What location from today's list surprised you the most? I read every comment personally, and the best stories often inspire my next videos. Plus, this community has become an incredible resource for travelers helping each other plan amazing adventures. Japan changed my life. Not because of the famous places, but because of moments like sharing tea with strangers, learning ancient techniques from craftspeople, and discovering that adventure exists in the spaces between plans. Your Japan story is waiting. The only question is, when will you start writing it? Stay tuned for next week's complete Japan itinerary guide, and check out my video about Japanese train etiquette. Trust me, you'll need it. Until next time, keep exploring.